toxicity.
You should not listen to men's rights advocates if you want to know what they have to say.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Alison, and this is What the Cat?
No. This one is different.
okay.
This is not What the Cat.
Oh, all right.
Oh my God, mistake already. All right, this is. Let's all take a deep breath. Town Hall and Comfy Booster. All right, just to give a bit of framing, a bit of context. On March 18th, 2020, the governments of the U.S. and Canada announced a full closure of the U.S.-Canada border to non-essential travel. With the closure of the U.S.-Canada border, the Western world is now in total lockdown. Ironically, this doesn't change for me because I was banned from the U.S. for 5 years last August, but that's neither here nor there. This comes after the stock market has seen record losses over the last 3 weeks, sparked by the COVID-19 pandemic crisis and worsened by the price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia over oil. Thank you, because that was the best time to have this, Saudi Arabia and Russia. We are in unprecedented times, unless you want to count the fall of bronze. Also, my cat doesn't care. She just doesn't. She's just gonna still be a cat. All right. Thank you for your commentary. It's appreciated. We are in unprecedented times, and these are also uncertain times. And uncertain times are often very scary times. But there is one thing I know: human beings are resilient. We reinvent ourselves and become whatever is needed to overcome a crisis. We did it when Africa turned into a dust bowl. We did it when the glaciers advanced. We did it when Ungrit burned and when Rome fell. The question then becomes how? How do we change? What sparks it? What guides it? How can we capture it to better our own lives? And that's the question I've always asked. And I've always asked it with the hosts and guests of Honey Badger Radio. And I invite you now to ask it along with me during these very interesting times. All right. So my name is Alison, as you guys probably know. Brian, he already said hello, so that's done. And this one, the topic of this one is let's all take a deep breath, and where we're going to add the comfort of camaraderie and some coping skills to the crazy. A little bit of business before we continue. In response to the situation we all find ourselves in, we've opened up a public square section of our Honey Badger Brigade patron Discord to the public. If you'd like to take advantage of some community interaction during these very trying times, please look in the low bar of this video. Also, if you are currently in the patron Discord and you would like to pop on during the town hall part of this to talk about your situation in your local area or how you're dealing with things or how you're coping, how you're dealing with the unprecedented amount of people at home, then please pop into the recording room or Direhawk's Den, and then we'll put you into the recording room when you're ready. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge the bad news and get to the fun part, grinding and getting good at being human. Okay, and again, today's topic is breathing. So, Brian, can you throw up? God, I'm juvenile.
Right now I have the greatest.com link that you shared. Is that what you want me to put up?
Yeah, that's what I want you to put up. Of course, I can't see what you're sharing.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm a little screwed that way, but I can open it myself. So just to give you guys a bit of a background with my own experience, I have an anxiety disorder. In 2012, it was so severe that I was actually restricted. I couldn't leave my house because I was basically had atypical agoraphobia. And I had to learn to manage my anxiety to the point where I was able to go out in public. And that took a long time. It took several years before I was not having panic attacks in public. And a lot of the techniques that I use came down to controlling my breathing or establishing control over my breathing, which is foundational to dealing with anxiety. Like if you do any technique to deal with anxiety, worries, feeling negative feelings, catastrophizing, which is the process of taking a little bit of information and spinning a whole narrative of destruction from it. If you have any issue with that kind of thing, then the first thing you should be doing is working on your breathing and working on learning how to breathe when you have these negative emotions. That includes shame, embarrassment, humiliation. You can use breathing to get through almost anything, except, um, a breath-borne illness. That would probably increase your chances of getting it. But regardless, so the foundational skill that I wanted to talk about today for dealing with anxiety is simply breathing. And
Mm-hmm.
the most critical element of breathing to help yourself with anxiety is that you want to be breathing out longer than you're breathing in. So that slows your breath down. It keeps you from hyperventilating, which is really what causes the anxious behavior. Um, when you're in a situation where you've learned to regard as dangerous, you start to tighten your muscles, your breath becomes shallow. And the reason why is that is it's an instinctive response to being in a situation with a potential predator. So you think, okay, there's something out there to get me. I want to be as small and as quiet as possible. So you start to really minimal breathing, contracting all your muscles, and getting really tense. The way you want to combat that is to breathe slowly. So take a deep breath in, hold it, take it out, hold it, take it in. Relax your muscles throughout your body. So you start with you can there are various techniques, but the most basic one that I've used is just simply a count of six in, hold, a count of six out, hold, a count of six in, hold, a count of six out. And in terms of relaxing my muscles, there's one technique that I've used in the past that's very effective, which is to tense your muscles starting with the top of your head. So you tense your face, breathe, breathe out. You tense your jaw and your shoulders and your neck. Breathe in, breathe out. You tense your arms, breathe in, breathe out. You tense your fists, breathe in, breathe out, and relax. So the idea is that you're relaxing each body part going up to down. So starting with the top of your head, your facial muscles, to your neck, to your shoulders, to your arms, to your fists, and then you relax. And then you tighten your shoulder blades, breathe in, breathe out. And I gotta adjust things now because to move stuff around, but and then you tighten your ab muscles and your diaphragm. Breathe in, breathe out. You tighten your glutes, breathe in, breathe out. You get distracted by a cat because she does not respect anything that you're doing in your life. Come on, guy. It's okay. It's okay. I know this is a little weird. Yeah, this is a little weird, but it's okay. It's okay. All right. So you go all the way down, go through your thighs, through your calves, through your feet, flex your feet, and then progressively just relax everything as you're breathing in and out to a count of six. And that's something that's really good if you have a lot of quiet and you're in a situation where you can just relax by yourself in private. But there's another breathing exercise that's really good when you're not in a situation like that, when you're in a very immediate stressful situation, and that's box breathing. Do you want to throw up the
How to
Navy
reduce
SEALs?
stress
Yeah,
like a Navy SEAL. Yep,
yeah.
got it up. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so with box breathing, it's very simple. Well, I guess it could be a little bit complex because it's you have to keep track of everything. But essentially, it's 4 breaths in to a count of four. I can't count and breathe in at the same time. So maybe you count, Brian, and then I'll breathe
All
into
right.
it.
Okay. So do I go
Just start.
when? Okay. One, two, or am I going too fast?
No, you're fine. I can
Okay.
I can actually control my breath to pretty much any count.
Oh,
So
all
you
right.
you just set the rhythm and I will do it. And guys, so you breathe into a count of four, you hold to a count of four, you breathe out to a count of four, you hold to a count of four, and then you do it again.
I
So
see.
go ahead, Brian.
Okay. One, two, three, four. 1,
Hold.
2, 3, 4.
Breathe out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hold.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Breathe in.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hold.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Breathe out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hold.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Breathe in.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hold.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Breathe out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hold.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Breathe in. Okay, so that's what you do. So count of 4, breathing in, count of 4, hold, count of 4, breathe out, count of 4, hold, and then repeat. And you can do that pretty much in any situation. You don't need to do the progressive relaxation of the muscles, but if you're stuck in a situation where you can't move, I suggest doing just the muscle relaxation because that really adds to the benefit. So those are the two main relaxation techniques that I've used. I use them in various situations where I know I'm going to be stressed. For example, I get stressed also on plane trips. Um, I don't have claustrophobia. It's just being several miles up in a tin
Mm-hmm.
can, being held up by aluminum foil. That sort of stresses me out a little bit. So I use those kind of techniques. I'll use the progressive relaxing. If I start to feel tense and I start to feel a spike of fear, I will focus on breathing. And the other way to start to develop the skills to focus on breathing is to start a meditation practice. I have found that I've actually talked to people on the patron Discord because I help them with a lot of these kinds of techniques going through their lives and managing their stress just regular every day. And I have discovered that some people think that meditation is really mysterious or magical, but meditation is simply the process of bringing your attention to the breath, to your breath, over and over and over again. So the I actually use a piece of equipment called the Muse headset, and the Muse headset will indicate to you if you have an agitated mind. Although what I found that useful with the Muse headset is not necessarily the fact that it indicates I have an agitated mind, but the fact that the sounds actually agitate me. So I have to learn using the Muse headset that I'm getting annoyed at these sounds, I'm getting irritated at myself, I'm blaming myself for not being able to even out the sounds. I have to learn with these negative emotions to go back to my breath and just relax and just let them go. Just relax and let them go. And progressively, as I've done that, I've found that it becomes easier and easier to deal with boredom, to deal with impatience, to deal with frustration, to deal with self-shaming. So situations where I'm talking to myself about, oh, you should have been doing this. Why weren't you doing this today? You weren't productive. I've learned to just focus on my breath and relax through that and relax those feelings away. And that really helps with a meditation practice. The reason why I think the Muse headset is of benefit as opposed to just doing a meditation practice on your own in private and quiet is I have done both. And I found that doing a meditation practice in private and quiet without any kind of agitating stimuli actually doesn't really help with learning to receive those negative emotions and then just breathe through them and relax out of them. I've had an experience. Actually, it was this can happen for people who start a meditation practice. It can make things worse, and I've had that experience. So the situation that happened in 2012, where I had the mental health crisis that led to my severe agoraphobia, was in part sparked by a meditation practice in which I was isolating myself, doing breathing techniques, experiencing the kind of almost psychological high you can get from a breathing technique, but not practicing how to use breathing, like when you have an experience of fear or discomfort, refocusing on your breathing. So I was going into a situation where I wasn't experiencing any kind of negative emotion because I was completely isolated. I was breathing, doing these breathing techniques, achieving pretty high states of joy and bliss and love, but I wasn't practicing on managing my stress in regular everyday circumstances. So when I was thrust into a regular everyday circumstance, I actually compared the stress of that to my experience in complete isolation. And I started to almost unravel my ability to manage just everyday stress. So I really recommend that you don't necessarily pursue a meditation practice in complete isolation, but do something that helps you refocus yourself on your breathing while in states of stress. So that muse headset does really help. Of course, you might not be in the same situation I was in. I was able to actually completely isolate myself, which is not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily a good thing. Well, actually, wait. Now everybody's in that situation, right? Because everybody's self-isolating. But anyway, I really recommend the Muse headset for that. Or you can just not meditate while you're completely isolated, or you can just practice your breathing techniques while you're in the presence of things that annoy you or fluster you or frustrate you. And just make sure you do that, because there's a bridge there that's sometimes missing with people's meditation practices, where they're
Mm-hmm.
not applying them to regular day circumstances. And like I said, this isn't just me. I've apparently this does happen to some people, that meditation can make things worse, and I think that's one of the reasons why, because you start to compare regular everyday experiences to the kinds of highs you can get during meditation, and then you start to self isolate because of that. You just start to avoid the negative, and or alternatively, the focus on your thoughts can start making those that catastrophizing or negative spirals worse. Okay, I'm going to pause for a sec because you
Okay.
haven't been able to get a word in edgewise. You have any thoughts, Brian?
No, I mean, this is all stuff that I don't. I guess it's all stuff that I don't do. I've never used these kinds of tools. So, um,
Well, you
but
might just be natural at it. You just
yeah,
naturally well
I
able.
I mean, I'm like I was telling you today. I'm I guess for me anyway, freaking out is just not an option. So I have to remain chill at all times. Um,
Yeah,
and
and this is really about learning how to remain chill if you don't have that natural, alphaness that Brian apparently has.
I'm not I'm not saying that, but like when I don't
Natural
know, like
chill.
yeah, I mean when because my mom, she worries, and Lindsay's really worried, and I think that I have to remain the oh, what's the
The
word,
the
example.
rock.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Well, the part of yeah, that's that sometimes it's good to have to live up to being someone else's rock, or being strong for someone else. It helps you be strong for yourself too.
but I will say that because Lindsay does do breathing, she does them for she uses the Wim Hof method a lot, and
Hmm.
it actually does really good for her. Like I think that she may have even done this before, because I was telling you that you do this Wim Hof breathing technique. It's the guy's name is Wim Hof. I might be mispronouncing it, and then you take a really cold shower, and it does like a lot for your energy levels. It also it chills you out, literally in some ways. So it does have utility for sure. And yeah, so you guys probably know, if you're watching, you probably know who Wim Hof is.
Mm.
You can
Well,
leave
they
us a
might
comment,
not,
let us know.
because this is
Yeah, I don't.
definitely different.
It's a fringe thing, kind of. I mean, he was on Joe Rogan. I'll have to ask. Like Lindsay right now is kind of indisposed, but I'll have to get the name from her. I just want to make sure I spell it right. I just know that she does watch him a lot. So, um,
Okay, no, I'm taking a look at this. I had not actually heard of the Wim Hof
Yeah,
method.
yeah,
Like,
just
the methods
definitely.
that I use are really simple methods. Um, and, I find that the greatest
Oh, the
benefit
Wim
that I've
Hof,
gotten.
yeah, the Wim Hof breathing is like advanced. That's like hard mode.
Yeah, this might be a bit above my, this is advanced
Outside your
techniques,
level.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I don't
Lindsay's
know if
into
my power
them.
level is
Lindsay is
sufficient
into
for
them.
this,
Yeah. Telling
but
you.
I'm just a scrub doing the basic, 6 count in, 6 count out. This looks like some serious higher level stuff. Some breathing gains there.
Yeah.
All right. So do we
He
have
is a really old guy in really good health too. Mental health and physical health. But
yeah.
what were you gonna say? No, there are no
Well, I was
super
thinking,
chats right now.
huh.
Yeah.
Well, we could always go through the comments on the last video. Just trying
Um
to see where we're at with
yeah, let me look because I don't even know.
yeah,
I
there
gotta
was some interesting comments. But anyway,
further.
so breathing is essential to maintaining a sense of equilibrium.
It's also
Although
handy for staying alive.
yeah, yeah.
If you
Well, although
get
I was saying that
good at it.
it's not going to help avoiding. I mean, if you don't breathe, you could probably avoid catching coronavirus, but
Yeah, that's
that's
true.
probably
That's true.
that's of limited utility overall. You, you
Yeah.
you do have to breathe, but yeah. So breathing is a great start for maintaining a sense of well-being during trying times. Learn to take deep breaths when you feel any kind of anxiety, a twinge of anxiety or concern, or worry about the future. I mean, at this point in time, basically, we're all in it together. So, I mean, that I don't know if that's a comfort that everybody is dealing with this all at once. Um,
I think
but
so.
that this,
Because
yeah,
for some it can be easy to think, oh, and I've seen this where people were like, oh, this is my problem, right? This is like
hmm
why me? Why am I the one that has to deal with this? And it's like it's not you, everybody.
yeah,
And the fact
exactly.
is, it's like we're in I'm seeing a lot of people that are um they well, it's like I said before, like when you know this is going on, it's it's like the humanity comes out because everything else
hmm
just ceases to be important. So
Yeah, in a lot of cases, especially if you're in a place with still has sort of an intact community or a social
yeah,
fabric. Yeah, that's it. It's a bit different than what I've been hearing in the cities. Like where I am, people were panic buying in the co-op in town,
sure.
but at the same time as you'll see people stopping and talking with each other, and this was even before any of this happened. Our co-op is like it's not just a store. It's also sort of a social hub where
Mhm.
people get to they talk and they communicate what's going on with each other. So there's a social fabric in this community where I live, and also in the smaller cities in Saskatchewan. So the small city that we go to often to get our groceries, same thing. You'll see people stopping with their carts in the aisle, and they'll be chatting and saying, "Oh, how are you doing? How's the farm doing?" That kind of thing. So, I
Mhm.
mean, there's still like a social fabric here. There's still a sense of
Yeah.
community, and that's really
Yeah.
good to see.
Well, I think
Yeah,
that's true even in big cities like mine.
yeah, it
Like,
can be.
that
There are
they're
communities within big cities, right?
exactly. It's made up of communities within cities. So when you see a familiar face on the street, that lives in the neighborhood, or you go to the local stores or whatever, there are people they're talking about this, So I think that, like I said, the humanity kind of bubbles to the surface in these kinds of times. So I have the comments from the last town hall that we did. I don't know how
hmm
much. We'll take a look at some of the interesting ones. The Great Indoors apologizes for the voice activated super chats. They were quite disruptive. It's fine. I don't worry about it. Okay, Sale says we are so effed when a real pandemic hits. Hysteria over nothing. Yeah, I think that it's the initial freak out. It won't last for too long. I think that people need to for one, I think that you have to unplug from this shit.
Hmm.
In my mind, because what if you like? See, I like watch almost exclusively YouTube videos these days because TV is trash. Let's just be real. It's just garbage, most of it. So I watch YouTube to entertain myself. And when what's happening now, and I was just sort of, talking about this with Alison earlier, is that everyone on YouTube is talking about this. And so I'm not going to watch all those videos because there's just it's an easy way to like make someone freak out if the only thing people are talking about is this. So I'm like, okay, unplug from this, like read a book, talk to a friend about something else, engage in some other activity, but don't let this sort of constant conversation and speculation, and it's like just adding to, for some people it's just adding to their anxiety around it. And I think that it's true, remain level-headed and deal with what's in front of you. That's it. What do I have to do now? Like that's what we're doing, and it's all you can do. If it's out of your hands, then there's no point in freaking out about it. If it is in your hands, well, then do something about it.
Yeah, exactly. So practice some self-discipline. Now, I'm not so copacetic about what's going on. I'm not sure. Like I have heard some theories. This may be they may be concerned about a second wave because the way that, for
Yeah.
example, the Spanish flu happened, there was a first wave that was milder in the spring, and then a second wave that was just horrendous in the fall. So there may
Mm-hmm.
be some things that they know that we don't, which might explain why there's this kind of reaction with the government. But then again, I mean, there's not. That's also not something that we can really do anything about. All we can
Exactly.
do.
And again, it's still speculative. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't prepare for the possibility of that happening, but
Mhm.
to like something like that isn't confirmed, but it's rumored. It may even be there may be even some evidence to back that rumor. To let that throw you into a panic is the absolute wrong thing to do. But instead, it's just like I said, just deal with what's in front of you, prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and leave it at that. You know um try not to freak out, though, because I think that's the worst thing you can do.
It's
Um,
not helpful,
no, no.
but also
So
it's very human. And if you are finding
yeah,
yourself freaking out, then just take a moment to do some breaths, do some relaxation to
mm-hmm,
progressively relax your muscles. You can look that up too, progressive muscle relaxation, to get some
yeah,
guides on that, and just to take some perspective. I mean, because you're probably not dying in this immediate instance, and if you are, you know, you probably want to get help. But
yeah.
if you're not, take some deep breaths and relax. Okay,
Okay,
so
so
anything else?
yeah. So Tyler Preston, I know that he sent us a super chat through Streamlabs. I should probably just read it on the stream really quick. He sent it yesterday. Um, he said, he paraphrased it. He said, "This reminds me of this video from a Curtis Connor, aka Canadian Onision, Onision, I think you mean Onision, commenting on the 22 convention, calling it sexist, racist, incels, etc., saying that men teaching women how to better themselves is harmful and it teaches women to be objects. For centuries, men have always been held to a higher standard in order to be seen as valuable, while women were not. Feminists expect society to respect them despite having done nothing worthwhile. With our economy this close to collapsing, we don't need spoiled little girls. We need women to be able to step up." End quote. Thank you, Tyler Preston. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're well. It's just like I was joking about when I heard about this. As soon as like serious shit hits the fan, and it's time for people to actually come together and solve problems, all this like woke shit, it goes away. It goes away. It
Mm-hmm.
goes away either because regular people ignore it, or the people who are spouting it suddenly they're not about that anymore, and they want the brave, strong, heterosexual white men to come and step in and help them. So, and
Mm.
that's happened. That's happened. It absolutely has. So yeah, there. I guess silver linings is all I'll say about that. So, let me see. There are some like really long comments, but
Yeah, let's avoid some of the long
yeah,
comments.
yeah. No, I think that's basically it. I did get some super chats while I was reading this. So, System Editor 1995 says, "Well, if society falls apart tomorrow, at least I have ham radio equipment still communicate locally and possibly internationally. Right now, I'm trying to look into getting a battery to run my smaller radio in case of a main failure. Probably look into a solar powered battery charger system too." All
Mm.
right. Well,
Well, that's
hopefully
always a
you've
good thing.
yeah, it's best of luck finding what you need. Hopefully it never gets to the point where we need it, but hey, you're prepared. I am not hating on that.
Mm-mm.
All right, so the price now we got super chats. The Price is Right review gives us $5 and says off topic request, check out Bounding into Comics now, please. I'm dumbfounded right now what I'm seeing. I never laughed so hard in my life reading this BS. I'll look at
Well,
it. Yeah, we
we
could
could
look
always
at it
take a
later.
laugh. Yeah,
Yeah, I could look at that later.
have
It
a
might
laugh.
be, it could be the thing about safe space and was it safe space and Snowflake? It's called Bounding
Yeah.
into Comics. They're basically like the pro Comicsgate website, like the One Angry Gamer
Oh
for
my God.
Comicsgate. So Mr. Roboto gives us $2 and says, "Any updates on Jordan Peterson's situation currently?" Well, I mean, we have as much info as you do, but last time I saw something, Michaela Peterson took a picture with her father. He seemed to be looking good, and they were either about to eat dinner or they had just eaten dinner. I don't. I know the last time I heard from them, they were in Russia. They're probably stuck there right now. Because Canada's closed its borders, so they're probably stuck there if they're still there. But they seem to be doing okay, and I'm sure they'll just lay low like the rest of us while this is going on. So,
Yeah, yeah. Just you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he just starts to focus more on his family as
mm-hmm.
opposed to the insanity in the world.
Yeah.
Um, because I think he's imparted his wisdom. I mean, there may be more, but I don't think he owes anybody anything more, to be honest.
Oh no,
Um,
if he like never returned to the public eye again, I wouldn't hate because he's already done a lot of good as it is. So like it matters. But I
exactly.
I think that in I think that him probably like just taking time to focus on family is not only okay, but it's probably like the best thing right now because frankly, again, even the to some degree, even what Peterson brings in terms of value, and I think he brings a lot of value, especially to young men, um, is it's just gonna take a back seat, you know. I think it's just gonna take a back seat to what's right in front of us. So, but yeah, I think that it's okay if that's what happens, at least for a while.
All right, so we have a snack that slithered into the recording room. Snack, do you have anything that you want to bring up or talk about?
I see you've used a photo from Buds. I've noticed this.
Sorry?
Oh, I see that your thumbnail. You've used a
Oh,
photo from Buds,
I don't know what.
which
okay.
is sorry, that's Navy SEAL training.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh,
It's
oh,
yeah, we were talking about the Navy SEAL breathing techniques, the box
Yeah.
technique. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also called more often than not, minus the lying down bit. It's also called combat breathing.
Okay.
Very similar. It's used by basically almost everyone actually who does anything involving policing or stuff like that. Very effective stuff.
Okay, so how do you guys use it when you're in the field as it were? Do you have any
Uh,
tips?
well, if you're making a pre-planned arrest, then you typically do. That's about it. Because other than that, you don't typically have time. It's for preparation. It's when you're going through what's called combat anxiety.
Mhm.
Is the term that's used, which basically means it's like, I guess the most comparable thing to use it for is like when you're breaching a door. It's this knowledge that shit is probably going to hit the fan, and in the military even more so, once you open that door.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of dealing with that preparation, that anxiety that you have beforehand. Obviously, in normal life, it's not so much combat anxiety because you aren't probably going to go hand in hand with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But it is that preparation for the thing to come.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, that can be a bitch to deal with, the anticipatory anxiety. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are feeling it right now. And one of the issues with like this generalized participatory or anticipatory anxiety is that it is in some ways never ending, because this I mean, it's a bit of a cloud of doom, the situation with the stock market, the situation with people's jobs, and it can be like really grinding on the psyche. So it is a form of anticipatory anxiety, but it's like a never ending form that's always in the back of your mind. It's not associated with any specific event aside
Yeah.
from events that are well out of your control.
It's
So
by definition chronic.
yeah, it's by definition chronic. So, guys, welcome to my world.
Oh yes,
Well,
same.
welcome to the world of somebody who deals with anxiety 24/7 for the past 40 years. Yeah, it's and I don't mean to be so snotty. Like it is a pain in the ass, but it is something you can learn to live with and thrive despite the situation being what it is. And anxiety can become your best friend. You're like, "Oh, hello. Good morning. Would you like a cup of coffee?" Hi, anxiety. Uh,
Yeah.
I remember you. No, I'm just kidding. It not it you get used to it. I'll put it that
It
way.
never
You
gets
get
to a
used to it.
comfortable relationship, but it gets to a relationship where you can kind of use it a little bit, because even with the combat anxiety thing, uh,
Mhm.
the point of the breathing exercise is not to make you not feel anxious at all. It will never do that. If you go into it thinking that it's going to make you super calm, you're shitting yourself. But what its goal is to do, unless you're like really not all that super stressed, the goal of it is to bring your heart rate and blood pressure down to a perfect kind of point where you can still react quickly enough,
Mhm.
but you're not over the limit to the point where you have poor fine motor skills, which is particularly important if you're maneuvering with a firearm,
Mhm.
or with handcuffs for that matter, or anything else. You want
Mhm.
that perfect equilibrium, and it's very much so the same with like EU stress versus like chronic stress. That
Mhm.
kind of helpful, useful like alertness that stress can bring versus the overbearing, completely shutting you down kind of level chronic stress.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. So it when you're dealing with anxiety, in many cases, yeah, you don't go into it thinking, okay, the anxiety is just going to end, but you get it to a point where it's manageable, and you can still function with it. I'm sorry to say that that's often the case with anxiety. And as you work on that, when you're talking about generalized anxiety as opposed to that kind of anxiety that's associated with an extremely stressful event that not necessarily one time, because I'm assuming that you do this over and over again, but it's associated with a specific event. When you're talking about generalized anxiety, you can get good enough at recognizing an anxious thought, recognizing an uncomfortable, frustrating emotion or experience, and going immediately to breathing and relaxing. You can get so good at that that you are dealing with high levels of extremely stressful generalized anxiety, so situations where it's just constant, but you're actually feeling okay. You're able to snatch moments of happiness and joy and enjoyment and contentment, and you're also able to just sort of float through a lot of the crazy shit going on. But you do really have to work at it, and that's something you have to work at daily in terms of feeling the tension rise, going immediately to relaxing and breathing and letting it happen. I can say a story that I've actually talked about before, which was something I talked about in the beginning, the intro of all this, the epic banning from the United States. So what happened was I was attempting, well, the International Conference on Men's Issues. I was organizing it in 2020. I attempted to cross the border via car, and I was stopped. And once, and then I came back again with under a lawyer's advisement, and the border agents decided to ban me for 5 years, alleging that I was an illegal immigrant attempting to take a job away from Americans by hosting a convention in America. Now, it was just a ridiculous thing, but essentially what happened was I got caught in the crossfire of a border war between the U.S. and Canada, and but during that experience, it was an incredibly stressful experience. I was brought stage by stage into progressively more quarantined areas of the border building or border agency. So it starts where you're separated from the general group of people who are trying to gain access to the U.S. You put into an area where there's a cord or a rope, and it's just a little bit more separate because they're being more in depth in their questioning of you. And then finally, you end up in the quarantine room, which is like this box with a window. And by the time I was in there, the border agent I was dealing with had said that I might actually end up going to jail. For what I had no clue, and apparently afterwards I learned that they couldn't have done that. But then I learned from somebody else that they could have by alleging that I had brought drugs. So it was it was an incredibly stressful experience to sit in that room pondering whether or not I was going to be taken away in cuffs. And I'm sitting there and sitting there and sitting there, and I'm like, I'm trying to maintain, like, trying to grab with nothing to grab onto, but trying to grab some control over the situation. And there's nothing, there's absolutely, I have no control over this situation. I'm sitting in a room waiting to learn if I'm going to be arrested. And it doesn't matter that they couldn't have necessarily done that, or maybe they could have done it if they wanted to allege that I had drugs. But I'm sitting there thinking that. And because I had spent a year practicing this process of recognizing a negative emotion or a stressful emotion and then just breathing, I started to relax and breathe and say to myself, whatever happens, I can survive it. If this ends in me in jail, I'll figure it out. I'll deal with it. I'll be able to survive it. And I will get through this. I will be able to manage this. And I managed at that moment to attain a level of calm in the face of potentially being arrested in a foreign country that I actually was pretty remarkable. And I would attribute it to practicing learning to identify negative emotions and breathe deeply and relax and just detach from the outcome, detach from the emotion, which allows you to detach from the outcome and just look at the world in terms of, okay, what's this new thing that's happening? As opposed to immediately rushing to judgment or catastrophizing. What's this new thing that's happening? This is going to present something different. This is going to present something new that I have to overcome. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, because we could learn from this. We could learn something very interesting. Something new could come out of it that we never saw before. So I moved into that thinking in that moment through practicing breathing techniques. So this is powerful stuff. If you practice it, you will see a benefit from it. All right, I will get off the soapbox. Did you have anything more? Did you have anything to bring up about the situation, Snack?
Well, stuff's getting canceled. That's all I can say. A lot of stuff's getting canceled over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, work obviously has not stopped in the slightest, but training has.
I guess
So
criminals
getting
don't
fun.
take a break, even for
Mm,
Corona.
No, people who like to trespass and break into stuff do not stop doing that, unfortunately. In fact, sometimes it seems to increase a little bit. Surprisingly, though, no one has threatened to cough on me yet in all of this. It's a form of resistance.
Huh. Okay, well that's a positive thing.
Maybe they haven't
Okay.
figured that out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have. But you hear some interesting stories from some of the people.
Yeah.
All right. So we have somebody else who's coming. You can slither around in the room here, Snack. As we bring on other people to talk to. Okay.
That's good.
Lugzilla. Sorry, go ahead.
Hello.
What do you have to bring us?
Um,
What information are you sacrificing on the altar of the comfy stream?
am I allowed to talk about hyperreality and how I'm mildly disappointed?
What is hyperreality?
Hyperreality is it's more or less, it's usually negative, and it's like you know, let me try and think of a good. Okay, so you know how a lot of people go to cities, and if they're not from the city, they're very afraid that they'll be robbed.
Yeah.
Fixating on that, that's hyperreality, because your
Oh, okay.
chances are, it's like what, 2-5% even in a big city.
Sure. It's just like when Lindsay was planning on coming here to live with me in Chicago, and she had some friends that were telling her that she was gonna get stabbed and shot and stuff because of like all of the reports of gang violence and that they were
Women are
afraid
very
for
prone.
her. They were afraid for her and stuff, or at least concern trolling. And she's come here and she hasn't been assaulted yet. But yeah, that I guess that negative attitude was that what you're describing?
The general garden variety misanthropy I'm finding in social media is really upsetting me, and I think and most of this is from people who didn't get the internet daily until like 2007, 2008. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't want to talk to people, you don't have to in the modern world. Like, especially a lot of these people, they work like office jobs or they work online. It's like, you don't have to hang out with your friends. If you want to stay home and read a book, play a video game, learn a language, do whatever you want. You don't have to say,
Learn
"Oh
an
my God, I hate
instrument.
people." Yeah, yeah. You don't have to sit around and complain and go, "Oh my God, guys, I've seen the light. I hate humans." It's like, please don't do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people got a human on social media, and I know what you mean. It does get really grindingly uh the negativity, the judgment, and and it doesn't help. It
Well,
doesn't
yeah,
help.
but I think that's a I don't think that's a common sentiment. I think that is just uh a portion of the population that lives through social media and they communicate through social media and primarily, but I don't think that's the average person. I think that most people are dealing with, they're basically assessing and dealing with their situation, and then there are people who just bitch online. Um or they do worse, they try to use it to gain clout or something that's even more cynical. But
Use me.
yeah, or whatever. But I don't think I think it can look like it's a lot of people because we knew you're looking at the world through that social media lens. It can appear that way, but I honestly don't think that that's actually a high number of people. I think most people are actually like living in reality, and they're dealing with reality, and they're not online, acting like they've never been inconvenienced before. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's the subject of hyperreality and all these not like the other girls. It's kind of
mhm.
funny that we've gotten to the point where liking humans is actually counterculture.
Isn't the thought economy collapsing too? I think it is. I think it is. I think the thought economy is collapsing because like simps are less likely to spend. They're pulling out.
Oh,
Um,
that's fantastic. I love
That
yeah,
was
that.
a
I
double
think that that's
doge.
happening.
Was that a pun?
Yeah,
Pulling
it
out.
was
I
a
was about to
double.
say,
No, because you'd have to be in order to pull out in the other sense. You'd have to be in the first place, and these guys aren't. So
oh,
they're just pulling out financially.
Oh, okay. All right. So thank you,
I'm
Luga,
just being
for the
real.
Can
so
I talk
real.
Hyper real, you might say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
hyper?
Final words.
I've been having a lot of fun lately. I played Tabletop Simulator with some patrons yesterday. It was
Dope.
really fun.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
can I just throw something in there since you're saying that? So I
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
this. I want to say this before you leave. I have this friend who I've known for I'm telling you, I've known him for as long as remember my own life. So I've known him for over 40 years. And he was albino. He is albino. And albinos, they have this disease that they don't tend to grow very old, because it's not just that they don't have any pigment, but they have these other sort of like physical limitations, right? And he recently, and I mean very recently, he had his disease was causing his lungs to fail, and he thought he was going to die, and he was basically getting like a lung transplant. And I remember him, and I talked about this on my Badger Lodge last Friday, but I don't mind repeating it here. I remember him reaching out to me to call me, because, you know, even I've known him for so long, but we don't like see each other very often. So we just talk when we can. And every time we do, it's like, you know, no time has passed, right? Because we've just known each other for so long. But I remember,
brother.
yeah, I remember that his, you know, that his health was failing, and he called me because he had just, like, I'm talking the 11th hour, he got a donor that donated a lung that was compatible, that they gave him. And so he called me while he was on these breath machines, and, you know, they were about going to be taking him in for the surgery and everything, to essentially thank me for being his friend for this long, because he was basically sure that this was like it, right? And I didn't even know. Like, I was like, I knew that, you know, he was like having a hard time of it, and I kept saying, I gotta go see him, but I hadn't gotten around to it. And then he called me while I was doing laundry one day, and I went out to the hospital to see him like the next day or something, you know, to visit him there. But he bounced back, and so now, you know, he was like exercising and getting his energy levels back, and, you know, and all this, and then this happens, right? And so we used to game together. Like, when I was like 14 years old, the first time I ever played, like, you know, tabletop D&D, I played it with him. And so you know, this is like one of the things, like, we both were artists, and, you know, we like a lot of the same stuff because we basically grew up together. So I wanted to see him, to like do some gaming with him, and he's not able to leave the house now, because if he does, you know, he puts himself in tremendous risk. And because his lung is basically a transplant, like, he's really concerned about this. And of course, so am I, because, you know, if he catches it, I don't think he's gonna do very well. He may not even make it if it's severe. So, you know, I can't see him. And so I was thinking that, you know, with not just him, but some of my other friends, you know, that I should try to do some maybe virtual, like, tabletop stuff with him. And I don't know if that would be something that, you know, because I would just do it with him anyway, but I don't know if that would be something that you know, maybe the folks on the Discord or the people watching at YouTube would like. I don't know, but it's just something that I've been bouncing around in my head, because on the, you know, I like making the content that I make for Honey Badger Radio, like doing the news show and the Nerdcast and the Weekend Men's Rights and the Fireside Chats. I also like doing the Badger Lodge, and on top of that, I think that there could be some value in doing stuff that's more kind of casual fun. But I don't know if that's something that that you guys would like. But I just wanted to say it while it was on my mind, because when Lucas said that she's been having a lot of fun doing that, I guess I just wanted to chime in with those thoughts. So
I would be very interested to see it streamed. And also, do you have Tabletop Simulator, or are you using Tabletopia?
I don't know what either of those things are, so I'll have to look into them. I don't know.
I'll DM you
when
links.
when I do it, it was always in real life. Like, my friends would come here and we would physically be in each other's presence. And I know that a lot of people don't have that luxury, and I feel, you know, very lucky to have that, but I don't think it's going to be something we can do in the foreseeable future. So we may have to figure out alternatives.
I highly suggest buying the 4-pack Tabletop Simulator.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can give like some copies to your friends. I'm not exactly sure how it works. The base game is like $20, and then you can just download mods. Like, once you have it, that's it. You can play Uno, Goldfish. We were playing Red Dragon Inn the other day. It was a ton of fun. I definitely suggest it. If people are strapped for cash, Tabletopia kind of works, but it only works for things like Secret Hitler and Go Fish and Uno, I think. It's kind of a wonky program, but it's free. So depending on what you want to play.
We could probably figure something out, and if Brian wants to make it an added benefit of the patron Discord, we'd look into some investment in the thing if that's where we're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. We
Yeah,
can
I'm
talk
sorry.
about this.
I'm sorry for hijacking. I just wanted to say that. So
No,
All
you're
right.
cool. We've been organizing like nights. I've been trying to get it, but I just didn't have the money for it until recently. So it took me a while to kind of like even get the game.
yeah.
Okay. And I might as well do a bit of a plug. If you're interested in becoming a patron, it's $5 a month for access to the Discord. It's the honest to God truth is we build a really great community, and part of the reason why it's a great community is because people invest in it, and people who come into it are ready to invest in building the community. You can go there. It's feedthebadger.com to get a subscription. We have almost near constant activity in the Discord, either text chat, voice chat, games, social nights. It's a really good value, if I can say so myself. Of course, I don't know. Anyway, so feedthebadger.com
Yeah.
if you're interested. And okay, let me bring on Shadow Wolf because he was interested in talking. Let me see if he's still there.
Thank you for bringing me on.
No problem. I'm going to move you over. Okay, Shadow Wolf, are you ready to speak? I know I just sort of popped you in here unannounced, and he hasn't.
Is
He
he
hasn't.
muted?
He hasn't,
I mean, he's
yeah, he might
muted,
be
but
muted.
Yeah,
Let
he's
me see if
server
he can-
muted for because I don't think his rank permits him privilege to talk in this room. I just unmuted.
give me his.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. How are y'all doing today?
good.
Oh, good. So what do you have to bring us in the town hall?
Well, on the plus note, I live in a college town, and my university has been very, very common sense about it. I think maybe a little overreactive, but it's been very common sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Personally, I'm well stocked. I have plenty of toilet paper and paper towels because I buy bulk. So I buy bulk that, so I'll buy it once and be set for years.
All right, great. So do you have anything else besides your preparations, and how are you feeling about all of this?
I'm not too worried. I will say, as far as the breathing exercise that you mentioned, where you breathe in, hold, out, hold for a 4 count each time, that's
Mm-hmm.
actually a meditation technique that I use to try and help keep my emotions under control when I'm starting to get anxious or stressed out. Main
Well, that's
difference is I
great.
do it for a 5 count on each one. That's
Ah,
something I actually learned in martial arts.
yeah, it is. It is something that I didn't actually learn this in martial arts when I took Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I don't know if there's like a focus on that in that particular martial art, but it's something
Yeah,
that I
well,
learned
I
through
studied
meditation.
Ishinru, so
Oh, okay.
area.
Yeah. But it's good that you've already have that practice because I'm sure it's serving you well in these uncertain times.
It
Mm-hmm.
is. Another thing that helps, I generally have kind of a whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah,
I'll
that is
take
really
control
helpful.
of and be concerned about what I can. But if it's something I don't have control over, why waste time and energy worrying about
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not worrying about the cat attempting to destroy my desk. I
Fair
have
enough.
no control over
It's for
her.
your own good, Allison. Trying to
It
protect
is.
you. Protect you
She's
from
trying to protect me
yourself.
from. She's trying to protect me from the ghosts in the machine or my own insanity. She probably thinks that I'm going nuts. I'm talking to nothing.
Quite
It's like
possibly. But I will
human.
admit, I do have
Have
some
you lost
concern
your
about
mind?
my dad and grandfather, but that's dad's I believe 65 and grandpa's 95, but they're both trying to stay safe, staying indoors. They've got a
Uh,
decent stockpile, but they're both retired military, so
Okay,
I'm
what the
not
heck?
hugely worried about them.
okay. They live in big cities.
Decent sized city. They live in Florida.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, tell them to avoid those spring breakers.
They live like central Florida. They're away
Okay.
from the coasts.
So they're by the Gators. All right. I got it.
All
Well,
right, great.
yeah.
Thanks for that update.
Yeah, and also, kind of wanted to throw out a thing where it's like, as a reminder of not every big, heavily populated area is panicking and going nuts.
No.
No, I'm sure that's
No,
not the case.
I'm sure, yeah, because like over here it's not that bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but all you hear about are the places that are.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know,
I know.
because that's what that's what it goes back to what I was saying before, where if you if you spend time on YouTube and in the internet and social media to try to figure out what the latest is, all you're getting is this this sort of panic inducing narrative, all of the terrible things that are going on. Like I'm trying to find positive stories and there are almost none because this is just what the media chooses to they if it bleeds it leads, right? They want to talk about the stuff that's the most holy shit. And but I know that's not reality because where you could look out your own window and it's most people they got it together. So but yeah, I'm with
I mean,
that.
it is. The media does definitely like to. Well, it wants clicks, so it goes
Yeah.
with the most hysterical narrative. And it is trying times. Let's don't get me wrong. This is not. This is everybody has a right to feel like they have anxiety and concern about the future because it is a very uncertain situation. Like I've never seen this in my life. The only other time I've seen this in my life, what it did have a pretty big impact on the community that it happened to. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not discounting people should have, they should expect that this is going to be stressful. But on the other hand, it doesn't really help to compound it and to present the worst case scenario. It doesn't help to catastrophize. It doesn't help to constantly focus on everything everyone else is doing wrong as opposed to what you can do to manage your own situation within a reasonable sense and take reasonable precautions, reasonable steps to control your own panic and concern. And nothing is ever served by having a whole country full of panicky humans. Like
Nope.
that will definitely lead to worse outcomes. So acknowledge that it's stressful, it's anxiety inducing, that this is going to be something that is going to cause stress to people, and learn to manage it and learn to live with it and deal with it and move on.
Yep.
So
Like something I frequently remind people is courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing what you need to do despite it.
yeah, exactly. All right, well, I'm gonna pull you into the other room, Shadow Wolf, and
All
thank you
right.
for
Thank
coming
you.
on. No problem. And I'm gonna double check what we're going, if there's anybody else. Okay, I'm gonna bring on Tiny Giraffe, who can tell us about what's going on in the land down under. Hey, Tiny Giraffe, are you there?
Sure he's not server muted or
She.
whatever. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
She. Oh, hi.
so
Hi,
am I
Tiny
live
Giraffe.
now? What's going
Yeah,
on?
you're live. You're
Oh,
on
hi
stage.
everybody.
It's okay. Just
Uh,
tell us what's going on.
All right, I'll give you some of the Australian experience. As you've probably seen, there have been riots over toilet paper. I've been to the store a couple of times,
Yeah,
and
but Australians, don't you guys riot over everything?
oh yeah,
It's just like riots
national
over toilet
pastime.
paper. Yeah, exactly. You riot over a riot. Like it's riot
Deploy the
time.
emus.
Let us live that down, please.
You're
We
never
don't
gonna
have
live it down.
guns to practice with. What was I saying?
Okay. All right. So I
Yeah,
heard that
I've had some good experiences as well. People are more cautious, but they're also talking more. I think the tension makes drives people towards each other.
Mhm.
Because you want to relieve that tension. It's like everyone around you has this low level panic. So you strike up a nice friendly conversation about the cat food that's not there or the trolley you're struggling with. And I don't know, it's just there's a friendliness that I wasn't expecting, and that's been pleasant.
Aw. And then also your country is no or your continent is no longer on fire.
Yeah. Just in time for the
For
for the
this.
microbe
Could be
apocalypse.
worse. Yeah, they could be both going on at the same time.
You could still be
So
on fire and
Exactly.
also their stock
yeah,
market's
because the
crashing.
fire could
Yeah,
have
there you
burned down
go.
all the toilet paper. Then nobody would have any.
What would you be rioting over? Yeah,
Oh yeah,
exactly.
A little
Yeah.
bits of charcoal.
you
The
guys just walk
koalas to
around with
wipe off.
just be walking
Yeah,
around
yeah,
with shitty asses.
yeah. Or you'd
Aw.
have to wipe yourself off on the koalas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
And then you'd have to have
Man.
riots over koalas. Shitty
right.
Mm.
koalas. Gets the last shitty koala. Oh man. Okay, well thank you for that.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to talk
Uh,
about?
yeah, the anxiety breathing, um, that you were talking about before, it really does work. Like,
Mhm.
you practice it when things aren't going crazy,
Mhm.
and then you employ it when you really need it, and
Yeah.
it brings your mood down. As
Yeah.
well as, if you wanna like, most people are self-isolating at the moment, and I'd
Yeah.
really encourage everyone to just pick up any project. Just, like, fill your days with stuff, learning, exercise, just keep your routine going and keep yourself sane.
Yeah, actually
Yeah,
the next one of these town halls
could
and
learn
comfy boosters.
could learn
Uh
Java or C++. We're already here, or whatever the new
okay.
coding
Yeah,
language is that all the kids are learning right now. Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
fellow kids. Um, and you could also get a subscription to our Discord and enjoy some game nights. Plug. Okay, all right.
I
I
mean,
won't do that again. I won't do it again. All right. So the next one that we do of these, I think I'm going to go over setting up a schedule in the absence of outside like a job or commitments that you have to keep that are external. But that'll be next time. But this time, thank you for coming on and giving us a page from down under and informing us of the riots. Not over koalas,
I
but
had that page back. We're kinda running low. I'm
Your
kidding.
new koala overlords.
yeah. Apparently, koalas are pretty mean. I didn't know that. They look so cute, but I don't know if you
Scream.
want to. I don't know if
Everything
you
in
want to wipe yourself
Australia
with one.
is like that, except for the stuff that just looks terrifying, is also still just dangerous.
Yeah, the cute stuff is terrifying. Like you could get eaten by a kiwi or something. It's a tiny little cute bird, but it's harboring the ability a great appetite for human flesh, that kind of thing. All right, okay. Thank you, tiny giraffe.
Bye.
Okay, so do you want to say goodbye?
Bye. Bye, Badger
bye.
Bees.
Bye. Okay, that was adorable. Possibly also deadly. You never know because she's from down under.
She's
Right.
probably
She might
she's
have some.
she's poisonous. I'm sure.
Yeah, she
She's
probably has some sort of poisonous spines
Well, don't
behind
eat
her
her.
ears or something. Yeah, well, we weren't going to eat her. But we might have been eaten by her.
Oh, that'd be venomous though.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't be venomous. That would be cannibalistic.
Oh well. Oh yeah. No, the problem. Oh god, no. Oh jeez.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Awareness is dawned. Okay. So let's do some. Let's do some positives. Let's look at some adorable crap. Do you want to do that, Ryan?
all right. So you gotta like share screens. We're gonna switch over
No, no, no. Just
to
go to the positives room.
yeah. But if I do that, your camera turns off because I can't look in the positives room and have you display the camera at the same time.
Oh God, technical crap. Oh, do you want me to do it then?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You do it. I'm gonna switch. You share the screen of whatever it is, and then I'll stream it. You know, like I'll
Okay.
window capture your stream.
All right, I'm going into the positives room then.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Just give me a second here.
All right.
All right, here we go. I'm in the positives room.
All right. Hold on a
Oh, there's a
second.
kitten in a little sweater. Okay, let's see. Let's find something cute, like really cute. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, we'll do this. This is for snake people. Do you see the snake?
Yep, I see the snake.
Shameless plugs intensify.
Yeah. It's a snake in a little blankie.
This is a ball python.
It's yawning. I guess it's tired. Okay,
Oh
let's
no,
go
it's
to
just
the next
stretching
one.
its jaw.
Well, I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is cute. But I'm gonna take a look.
It's gonna open in another window if you click that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I screwed everything up. Sorry, guys.
So you just gotta hit play on that.
All right, but how is it showing up in the?
I
don't think it is.
Is it playing? Are you watching the video? Because I don't see anything.
I am playing. I'm playing it.
Yeah,
But
it's playing now.
sorry.
It's playing now. We can see it. Just black for a second. For some reason.
Okay, this is getting boring. Oh, okay, that's like lots of cats.
Cat who keeps her distance from the world. So it's a cat practicing
social distancing.
Social distancing.
I'm guessing that this. No, she doesn't. Okay. So what's the conclusion of this?
Cats don't like people, apparently. This one doesn't.
Yeah. Okay, well,
it's
let's
not
just
getting
go to,
COVID-19, that's for damn sure.
let's go to Spooter time. Do you see this?
Yep, I see it.
All right. Look, it's a Spooter. Kill that Spooter. Protect your human. It's a venomous Spooter. I like it when it tries to scoop the Spooter and it's looking at its paw. It's like, where? Okay, so for people who are might be just listening to this, where somebody drew a spider on a piece of paper with a cat, and the cat tried to kill the spider, even though it was just a spider drawing. All right, next one.
All the head cannons and AIs. Is that what it says?
All the what?
I don't know. I was trying to read the name of the video, but go ahead, play the TikTok.
Okay, this is TikTok, which I don't understand, but I'm playing now. I don't get this at all. I don't understand
It's
this
just getting
reference.
the dog to play. It's probably playing music to go with it, but we don't hear anything.
I'm pretty sure that this is a reference, Brian. I know that at least. Okay, let's look at this. Aw, sleepy fox, sleepy white fox. Aw, it yawned. Cute. That was adorable.
Is that a fox?
Yes, it's a
Yep.
fox.
I don't know. Dog too.
And then here's a cat show with a cat that is some sort of kind of omelet cat.
Apparently the room is at 107 degrees plus.
Yeah.
Not greater than 115.
Melting cats.
Yeah, it's just a melting cat, like just a fur pile. And then there's another cat that's quite long and skinny.
Yeah.
It's a little like a gremlin beside him. And the message on the meme.
First one isn't melting, he's just disguising himself as a snowdrift.
Yeah.
Camouflage.
Different breeds of cat have different melting points. Okay. I don't know about that one. Oh, wait. Tiny hamsters eating tiny burritos. This looks like it be
important.
Tiny hamsters eating tiny. Yes. Probably we're going to get a copyright strike over this one.
Well, there's no sound, so as long as we keep talking, it's probably like.
Yeah.
This is live
Oh,
commentary.
Yeah, I know. Look, my God, that is so adorable. Like he made this tiny little burrito with dental instruments. It's so small. And he's setting a table and there's some sort of like
Crayola button.
lighting, like and then here comes the hamster.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. This is like an episode of Top Chef, except Ramsay is like the hamster.
I was
Right,
surprised he didn't try to eat the plate instead.
I know. And oh my god, he's like, wow. I don't even know where that first tiny burrito went. It just like
In its cheek.
disappeared in its cheek. Okay.
They
Apparently
have a habit of doing that.
those tiny burritos were successful, and also the decor is falling over.
His lighting, his lighting decor, he needs to work on that.
That's one satisfied hamster. It's like, yeah, give me some more tiny burritos. Okay. In a Petco, they found a kitten in the storm, and put her in a little sweater. Aww. Look at that. I think it's a
It's
sock.
like somebody's sock. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think it is. I don't think that's actually a sweater.
I think that's this is false advertising. What the hell? Okay, I don't know what that is. Oh, there's an ermine eating a wiener
Stealing
on
a
somebody's
It
stealing
sounds
a wiener.
weird just saying it.
Yeah, just coming right out with it. Ermine eating a wiener. This isn't furry porn. It's just an ermine with a sausage. Okay. Aw, I see that you got into the positive snack and you started to
Oh,
put
yes.
up your own kind.
Snacks must be properly represented. Oh,
Okay. All right. I think that's unless there's anything else that we should cover.
I do
I
have
think
one more super chat. I think we can.
Sure.
I think we're done. Mr. Roboto gives us $2 and says, "Supplies and smokes in the Badger Cave. Is it plenty?" I don't think they smoke.
No, we don't smoke.
But I think you're probably fine on supplies, right?
Yeah, we're fine on supplies.
And they're also prepared to steal from others if need be, because they have crossbows, guns, explosives, snowmobiles. So yeah.
Oh, don't tell the RCMP that.
And several cats that they can probably like with a sling that throws cats. So they're prepared. They're prepared.
We could oh shoot. We could have our own little post-apocalyptic snowmobiling gang or something.
Drive-by snowmobiling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that would drive-by snowmobiling. We'll steal all your caribou or something. We're fine for why are you guys gonna send us like provisions? Get a flat of like MREs or something.
Just keep what you have. Fine, we'll make it.
Yeah, we're fine. We'll be fine. We'll keep on keeping on. Okay, I think that's good.
Okay.
Once again, if you want to support this content, you can get a subscription at feedthebadger.com, or we can also take one-time donations. And yes, keep those super chats coming for the next time we do these kind of streams, because the super chats, YouTube looks at that and says, "Oh, these people make some money for us, so we'll keep them." Not today for the axe, not today. So thank you for the super chats. Thank you to all of our patrons who are sticking with us throughout all of this. You're very, very generous. And we really appreciate that, because these are tough times, and it's important to get together, because that's what's going to get through it, is people coming together and helping each other out. All right, Brian, do you have anything you want to say?
Nope. I think we'll just wrap it up here. I'll see you guys in a few hours for the Weekend Men's Rights. I'm hoping that I hear back from Natty and Elizabeth about that. I know that they express interest, so we're gonna try and give you guys a show that's like more of a regular show later on today. But for now, if you guys could smash like, if you haven't smash like now. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications so you know when our shows go live. The stream will be on the other channel, Badger Live Streams. This channel will be where our town hall shows will go. If you guys also could leave us a comment, give us some thoughts. How are you coping? What do you think about what we discussed today? Maybe you have something you want to add, and we'll read them on the next town hall show. So we just got a super chat from the real Celerate, who gave us $5 Canadian and wrote, "Thanks for all you do." Thank you so much, and yeah, I appreciate it. So with that said, I guess we're just gonna wrap this up. Talk to you guys in the next show. Have a good one, and yeah, stay chill, everybody.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.
Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious